Happy Friday, Mr. Joshua with another video. Today's about 3:30 in the morning, 73 degrees, not too bad. I think today we're supposed to be hitting around 100 degrees, give or take. So that's going to be fun. So one thing about Idaho and California, they're completely different. With Idaho, they have more of a drier summertime. And then with California, we had more of a just a really fucked up kind of heat, you know? It's like a scorching heat. And up here, it's more of like a dry heat. I think it's because Idaho's more up there in a higher elevation. But yeah, it's going to be a good one today. Pretty long day, I think. But right now it's Friday, and I'm at about 40 hours right now. So it's not too bad. I think realistically I'm going to hit around 50 hours for the week. It's been great. I haven't hit 60 hours in the past month or so. 60, I meant, my bad. It's really done a great improvement mentally and physically on my body. Not working at 60. And at this point in my life, I've learned a lot. One of the things I've learned was about money. Money is the most common thing in the world, and you can literally find it on any corner. Whether it's $1 or a dime or a penny, whatever it is, it's common. And it's really weird is that I know that I'm scratching pretty hardcore right now for money, trying to scrape by with everything that's going on. But you know what? I'm in a state of where I just don't care anymore. You know, I see my bank account. I have like $100 left after scoring a $900 paycheck, and I just don't care anymore. You know, I know about a year ago, when I was in the same situation, I would be in like panic mode, trying to sell things, trying to, make up the money that I don't have. And now it's just kind of taught myself not to really care so much, And I don't have the anxiety anymore when it comes to money. I mean, it sucks that I'm not making as much as I am when I'm hitting 60 hours a week. I'm potentially losing out on an extra $500 a week. But you know what? I just don't care anymore. My health, mental and physical, is more important than money. So with that being said, that was just a side note. I want to finish off Batman vs. Terminator for this part 12 video. It's going to be a little difficult. Usually it's pretty easy for me to make up storylines. A lot of the time it'll take me like good 20-30 seconds to make up storyline from beginning to end. But I've been having problems lately trying to figure the ending out for this storyline. So I think I left off with Batman fighting the physical embodiment of Skynet. And what Skynet essentially did was it made up its own body, its own like physical body, in means of splicing human DNA with Terminator nanites. So in a sense, Skynet is a superhuman, kind of like Superman in a weird way, minus flying and being able to shoot lasers and things like that. But here he is, naked Skynet fighting Batman on this catwalk that is overlooking the time machine. Well, that's hanging over the time machine. And at this point, John Connor was able to break into Skynet Central, and he was able to get into this room, this big giant round oval-shaped room that held the time machine. And so he goes in there, he hears a bunch of like grunting and struggling and banging noises, and he looks up. He sees Batman fighting this naked Terminator, And John Connor wants to go up there and help Batman. And he finds his way up there. And Batman doesn't know that John Connor was coming up there to help him. And Skynet immediately recognizes John Connor and smiles. And says something like, "Why, hello, John Connor. You and I have finally meet face to face. I have met you in the past. I've met you in the future. Now it's time to meet you in the present." And then John Connor asks what he's talking about. And then Skynet tells him that he is the physical embodiment of Skynet. And they have kind of back and forth. I'm not really sure what they would say back and forth to each other. I think Skynet would end it all in like him saying something like how it's time for this war to end, but this time it's the machines that will win, not the humans. Whether you beat me in the future, the future or the present, I have already beaten you in the past. Then John Connor is a little confused and he asks, "What do you mean?" And before Skynet was able to say anything, if it wanted to say anything, Batman resumes the fighting, tries to sneak one up on Skynet, and Skynet was too quick. They just start battling each other, punch for punch. And luckily for Batman's wearing this heavy armor, extra strength, resilient armor that gives him a little bit of a strength boost and extra armor. If it wasn't for the armor, Batman would have probably been dead with all the blows that he was receiving from the physical embodiment of Skynet. And then John Connor tries to join in a fight. He starts shooting at Skynet, and with Skynet's body, it takes to bullets. He gets wounds all over his body, but because of the nanites, the wounds, they heal up within a matter of seconds, literally. And this is supposed to be kind of like an epic battle, teammates John Connor and Batman join up together to fight Skynet. And I think what ends up happening is Batman gets knocked off the catwalk, comes plummeting down to the ground and hits the ground pretty hardcore right next to the time machine, which leaves Skynet and John Connor. Skynet looks over at John Connor, and John Connor points his rifle at Skynet, and Skynet says, "It's too late for you. This is where you end, John Connor." And then John Connor says something, smart ass to him, and starts, shooting everything that he has at Skynet, as Skynet just casually walks towards John Connor on the catwalk. And then as last desperation attempt, John Connor points his rifle at Skynet's head, shoots him right in the brain, and instantly, just like that, Skynet drops to its knees. And the reason why it happens is because John Connor basically severed the brain from the body, so that way it loses connection temporarily. And then John Connor cautiously walks over to the body that's just laying there on its knees, and he presses the barrel of the rifle up against Skynet's head. And just as he's about to unleash another bullet, Skynet's hand jolts up real quick, grabs the barrel before John Connor has the time to pull the trigger, and yanks the rifle out of John Connor's hand. and before John Connor has enough time to retaliate or anything, Skynet trips John Connor with the rifle. John Connor falls to the ground. Skynet immediately gets up. Before John Connor can get up, Skynet slams its foot up against John Connor's neck, pinning him down on the ground, on the catwalk. And as John Connor is sitting there, just pinned to the ground, choking, Skynet casually looks at the rifle and says, "What a petty tool, primitive and weak and insufficient." And he throws the rifle off the catwalk. And then Skynet looks back down at John Connor and gives him a disgusted look on his face, like John Connor's, nothing but a dog that's being crippled underneath Skynet's foot. And he says to John Connor something like, "Goodbye, John Connor." And before Skynet has the time to actually, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Right before Skynet is able to snap John Connor's neck with his foot, Batman comes out of nowhere and shoots a grappling hook straight through Skynet's chest, from the back through the chest, and yanks Skynet back. And Skynet, falls away from John Connor, kind of topples backwards. And Batman uses Skynet's body to shoot himself up back into the catwalk with his grappling hook gun. And John Connor is able to crawl away quickly. Then Skynet, slowly turns around and faces Batman. And Skynet, he's grunting because he's in pain. Again, Skynet basically has a human body. And Skynet reaches with both of his hands into his chest and rips out the grappling hook, snaps the cable, and charges after Batman. And before Skynet has a chance to get the Batman, Batman's backing up and he yells at John Connor, "What are you doing? Get the hell out of here. Save us." And John Connor, he's spitting blood on the catwalk, and he slowly gets up and kind of limps away. And unfortunately, this is all that I have for right now. Again, my mind is all over the place. Let me know if anybody likes these videos I've been making. Sorry if I'm a little boring, but mainly what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this storyline out for myself. This is something I don't want to forget. Eventually, what I'd like to do is get into AI videos and turn this into a full-on AI video. I think that would be pretty cool. But that's all I have for today. Happy Friday. I'm out.